So I haven't done a single BookTube-a-Thon video, but I decided to do this one because I like it and I feel like I can talk about it. It was actually pretty hard to figure out what my favorite book is, because books I like make me think a lot, and books I like I usually read super slow, like The Book Thief. And that's why it took me like 2 months to read The Life of Pi, which is only like 300 something pages. And I read this for the first time back in November to January. Well, basically it's about a boy from India. His boat sinks. He's the only survivor, and he's on a boat with a tiger, a zebra, an orangutan, and a hyena. And so basically he's traveling across the Pacific because he ends up in Mexico. Anyway, and so basically it's this whole journey, and it's like he's growing up. It's like a religious journey too, and there's so many like interesting descriptions and metaphors with like the zoo that he grew up in, that his family owns, and his life, right? And I just really like this book made me think so much, especially the religious parts, the spiritual parts. One of my favorite parts was when his family met up with the 3 different religious leaders that he'd been talking to over the years. They meet, and they accidentally meet with Basine and his mom and his dad. In these troubled times, it's good to see a boy so keen on God. We all agree on that. The imam and the priest nodded. But he can't be a Hindu, a Christian, and a Muslim. It's impossible. He must choose. I don't think it's a crime, but I suppose you're right, Father replied. The 3 murmured in agreement and looked heavenward, as did Father, once they felt the decision must come. Mother looked at me. A silence fell heavily on my shoulders. Basine? Mother nudged me. How do you feel about the question? Baba Gandhi said, all religions are true. I just want to love God. And the religious leaders find out that he's been seeing more than one of them, and they're like, you can't be a Muslim, a Hindu, and a Christian at the same time. And he's like, I just like God. And he's like, he's so spiritual, and that's one of the things I like the very most about this book. I really like how you kind of have to decide for yourself what's true and what's not, especially when it gets to a certain part of the book that has these seemingly magical island. If you've seen the movie, you know what it is. And the end of this book left me wondering, was this real or not? And yeah, it was just so interesting. I can barely describe it. I am totally reading this book again this year.